Hare Krishna. Omagyanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion. We'll start maybe today. Second canto a little bit. It's a very important um, uh, important discussion. Yeah. Many of them I know they must be cooking or driving or doing something well. My class is going and I know that, but does not matter. What matters for me, I get opportunity to speak. That is more important for me. So this is actually this is very important for us to. Because it helps our understanding. I'll give one example. Like example means Bhagavatam. It is not so easy to understand. This about I'll elaborate this more, but I'll give an example. Omega. Like there is one Arundhati Nakshatra. And it's a very small star, and then but it is near the Saptarishi Mandal. So what they show? They show the Saptarishi Mandal, and they say you are seeing the Saptarishi, they are very bright. Everybody can see. And now in between that third and fourth, you are seeing that small one. That is what is Arundhati. So similarly, what we are learning here, Bhagavatam is indicating something else. That is why it is very difficult to understand. This is Shaka Chandranaya. Somebody does not know moon. They are told, okay, see the roots, you are seeing the tree. In between the branches, you are seeing that round yellow color. That is actually moon. Like that. Now, Bhagavatam, what we are learning and what is indicated is something different. And to get that, we need to really work very hard. We need to do proper sadhana. And this second canto and first canto, they are like first and second chapters, some parallels in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. First canto and first chapter, second canto and second chapter of Bhagavatam. There are some parallels. What is the parallel is? If you see first canto, first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is all the characters of Mahabharata are given, who are different characters, and that means some story of Mahabharata, explaining all of them. And then the second part is second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is summary of Gita summarized. If you see the chapter title. Similarly, here also, if you see the first canto, you have so much of Mahabharata. All characters of Mahabharata are there. Yudhishthir Maharaj, Duryodhana, Ashwatthama, we have Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, everybody is there. They are also in this chapter. Second canto is also, in one way, summary of Bhagavatam. That is, and one simple way to understand, and it is very simple, but there are two different methods. One simple structure of second canto, and then the what little more complicated structure, which is a deeper structure. Two structures. If you just go through it, this is we have, because we are grown up in this modern way of education. We try to dissect. We make into parts, take titles, put them into system, and then we'll say, now got it. I understood. But that's not the way to learn Bhagavatam. It is very, very, what happens now when you dissect, like the biology and all, they dissect. The dissect means then the animal is dead only. They kill the animal, they dissect it, try to understand. You are trying to understand life by killing the animal. How can you understand life? It is not possible. If they want to learn frog, you want to know about life, you have to kill the frog to know it. This is the modern way of learning. They say that's why it is not very systematic and organized in Vedic texts. If you see the Vedic text, especially any text, and if you take astrology, many people have this curiosity and they read also. I also attempted to read astrology, but we see that not everything is at one place. It's such a confusing thing. Something about the planets are in this chapter, and some other book, some other place. And if only one person is writing all these things, not the 10 people are writing and they are writing, only one person, Vyasdev, is writing. We may think, Array, you are writing, why don't you compile it in one place? All graphs, everything at one place, all nakshatras one place, all rashis at one place. Done. Print a book and then done. But it's not like that. It's not so simple. It's quite a different thing. And same thing with Puranas also. Now we have some stories here, we don't have connection. Like how suddenly this fellow became a devotee, how suddenly this person is this. And Acharyas refer, Kalia, he had some issues previously, then Garuda had fighting, that's why he came here, that's why Garuda cannot enter this water. Because not everything is at one place. Some from this Purana, some from that Purana, this, that. And then at last you come, okay, some understanding. Now here also, Bhagavatam is speaking something, but it is indicating something else. That's why it is much more difficult. Anyway, that elaborately we will discuss, because what happened yesterday, I went and attended Bhakti Gyan Maharaj's structural review of second canto, and the class was 2.5 hours. and, and honestly speaking, half of that went over my head. Again, I had to hear to understand. Because it is Russian and it is translated in English. So the devotee was translating. Uh, it was quite a difficult translation. So it 2.5 hours just on structure only. And this is a third class. We have just on structure of second canto, there are 3 classes. Actually, should be 4 classes. Maharaj took third one little big and he skipped so much of it. I was thinking, oh, Maharaj could have taken 4 just on structure, but I'll not take so elaborate. I'll take very, very brief structure here. Maybe Sunday, because the discussion is on Sunday is only structure, so I'll take it as much elaborately as whatever understood. Yataditam yatamati. How much ever the bird flies in the sky, that much amount we'll try to discuss there. But here I'll give a brief structure. Of course, even I wanted to listen and understand it more thoroughly before explaining to you. Maybe I'll start the chapter only, but maybe after 1-2 classes, I'll again explain the structure, because I want to analyze it properly before presenting. It's very, very nicely it is presented. One hint, 2-3 hints I'll give to make you understand. See, these 10 chapters, they are the lotus feet of Krishna. And lotus feet of Krishna, if you then 5, all these 5 are the 5 fingers of the finger of the feet. So first 5 fingers and second 5 fingers. And fifth and sixth fingers are like the toes. And then this is the smallest finger from, if you take from Lord's right side, smallest finger. So first chapter, and this is the smallest finger on the left leg. On right leg, the smallest finger is first chapter, and left leg, the smallest finger will be 10th. And like that going, fifth and sixth comes the toes. They are in between. You can imagine the toe, lotus feet of Lord. Right leg, left leg, the toes, and then the fingers become smaller and smaller. The last 2 are first chapter and 10th chapter, smallest of the fingers. And now if you see, the first chapter explains about the Virat Rupa of the Lord. And 10th chapter also explains the Virat Rupa. 5th chapter explains Virat Rupa, and 6th chapter explains Virat Rupa. So in that way, you see a parallel. So 4 times Virat Rupa is explained in the 1st and 10th and 5th and 6th. So in that way, it is parallel. And then here there is about the Paramatma, meditation on Paramatma, and in the here also we have some parts of it explaining the same thing. And here questions by King Parikshit and doubts he is expressing, and you have the some of the doubts that are explained and about devotion in the third also, like that. And fourth and seventh I forgot. Maybe I will explain once, but I am going to explain in detail. I'm just giving a hint. Like this, they are the two lotus feet of Lord. It's such a beautiful explanation by Acharyas. It was so nice. Now, if you take the a simple understanding of this 10 chapters, then there is a deeper understanding. So both will try to. I'll just give the simple understanding. The first chapter basically, Sukadeva Goswami. Actually, so if something gets stuck in my, I get so much irritated. Some conditionings. I'm sorry. First chapter, na? Sukadeva Goswami becomes so ecstatic as soon as he hears the question of Parikshit Maharaj. He even forget to do Mangalacharan also. He says, "Wow, Varyaneshate Prashna." He says, "Srotavyadini Rajendra Ninam Santi Sastra." He actually very thoroughly criticizes. First he says, "Varyaneshate Prashna." Your questions are glorious. Krito Loka Hitam Napa Atma Sammate Pumsam Srotavyadini Paraha. This is such a glorious questions you are asking. Very nice. And you can extend it. This question nobody asks only. That is the problem. People are so much busy with their life. They don't ask this question. What will happen to what should be the duty of a dying person? Even I started thinking, wow, this is important question. I never thought of it. Because we are all dying people only. I gave the example. No? One person is falling from a 110th floor. At 80th floor, some people are discussing. So far, nothing happened. It's everything is fine only. Yeah, but remaining 80 floors will come very fast. It's from 110 he fell. At 80th floor, nothing happened. But how much time it will take for him to cover the remaining 80? Similarly, for us also, it is very much applicable. What is the duty of a dying person? Like Bhakti Maharaj has this die before you die book. No? In that, the dead man, dead body still flapping. Yeah, the dead man is still flapping. So our body is already dead. Only thing is, what happens is we are flapping our hands and legs here there. Because body is always dead only. If you closely observe, if you remove the soul, it does not have any value only. It's already dead. So we'll just see the simple structure of second canto. So first is about first he very left and right center criticizes materialistic people. Sukadeva Goswami. Then he says, okay, now you Tasmat Bharasa, two important shlokas of this whole canto, second canto. Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyasya Smartavya Ichchata Abhayam. This is the most, this is the conclusion. Tasmat means concluding. Arey, why waste time all this thing? Tasmat, therefore, you said you are dying. This is what you have to do. Instead of Shrotavya, Kirtitavya or materialist thing, just about Krishna. That's all. Then you will be free from. So this is the most important instruction. And one more Tasmat is other, two times. Tasmat, one more about the holy name it comes. Anyway, I remember the shloka, but it's not coming now. The two comes in the yes, Madhuri.
That shlokana Tasmat Sarvatmana Rajan, same like that. Hari.
I can show you this. It is, I think, shloka comes when they glorify the holy name. That time again.
Tasmat Sarvatmana Rajan, Hari.
Sarvatra Sarvada.
Oh, Sarvatra Sarvada.
So two times.
Shrotavya Kirtitavyasya, like that.
Yes. So these are the two shlokas which is concluding the, which is actually the important verses of whole canto only. Of course, whole canto has many important points, but this is the conclusions. Which one important thing when we are understanding the commentaries is what is very important is that we should know always the conclusion should be clear. then based on that, what exactly is the ultimate achievement of this book? Based on that only everything is explained. Then we'll be able to understand, then there will be no contradictions. If we separate that, then only contradiction. Like I'll give example. We discussed in this 1.3.28, that is Paribhasha Sutra. If you accept this shloka as Paribhasha Sutra, remaining all the shlokas of Bhagavatam should be based on this shloka only. Because many times in Bhagavatam you will get a shlokas which says Krishna is Amsha of Narayana. Now, if Krishna is Amsha of Narayana, why it is mentioned? Why it is so many? If Krishna is the Swayam Bhagavan, why it is mentioned Amsha in Bhagavatam only, not in any other scripture? So, but if you understand Paribhasha Sutra very clearly, then we will be able to reconcile everything. If you hopefully you remember that session we discussed why it is Paribhasha Sutra, that is proved actually by Jiva Goswami. In Krishna Sandarbha, just one shloka only proves everything. This shloka, he's proving this shloka with various references, why it is Paribhasha Sutra. So the point what I am telling is, we should always know what is the purpose of Bhagavatam, to explain what. So if any chapter we are taking, it should be in relation to that point only. Then it becomes very clear for us. So here the second thing is that so this first chapter, now he tells about meditating. So three progressive ways. First is he tells, okay, you meditate on the in the Virat Rupa of the Lord. If you don't have personal understanding of Lord and all, first chapter says Virat Rupa you meditate. Second chapter, he actually left, right, center he criticizes the sannyasis. He says, why you are to Durmadando? Why you are to serve these rich people? Are the trees not giving fruits? Are the rivers are dried up? Are there are no Supreme Lord does not protect his dependents? Why you are to go and serve all these materialistic people? And then he tells how to meditate on Paramatma. So this is the universal form meditation, Paramatma form meditation. Third is devotional service. Quite simple. Then after speaking, because he was so ecstatic in answering the question, he did not do Mangalacharan. So in the third chapter, second part, Saunaka Rishis, they express gratitude to Sudha Goswami, and Sudha Goswami in the fourth chapter they appreciate Parikshit Maharaj. On the second part of fourth chapter, here Mangalacharan starts. Sudha Goswami starts doing Mangalacharan. Very, very nice instructive Mangalacharan. We'll discuss elaborately there. Now on fourth chapter he is doing Mangalacharan, and in Vallabh Sampradaya they do this Mangalacharan before reading Bhagavatam, like we do na Narayana Namaskritya Devim Saraswatim Vyasam and no all these shlokas we chant before Bhagavatam. Like that in some of the places they chant this this verses, I think 14 verses some are there, where the Mangalacharan, they are the prayers of Sudev Goswami, his Mangalacharan before reciting Bhagavatam. So that happens here. Then the fifth chapter and sixth chapter are actually explaining the Virat Rupa and Purusukta confirmed. This is explaining that passes. And then seventh explains the incarnations of the Lord. Various incarnations again there and their functions. They are explained here. And eighth, Parikshit Maharaj asked so many questions. He asks many questions, and in the end he says, some questions I don't know how to ask also. I may not have asked some questions, but please answer them also. Even if you didn't ask that questions, you answer that question. So eighth chapter is like Parikshit Maharaj has many questions. He's asking. And then this chapter is very important, nine, because it says answers by citing Lord's version. So Bhagavatam is the answer for all questions. And last here we have is Bhagavatam is answer for all questions. And here also we have 10 topics of Bhagavatam, Chatushlokya of Bhagavatam in the ninth. And here this is very nice important section, Chatushlokya of Bhagavatam. So this is a very simple way of structure of second canto, but there is much more deeper structure which is very important for us to understand what second chapter is. I just give, because first canto is what? Adhikara Tattva. what is the qualification of hearer? I told before also. It is not the qualification of speaker, it is a qualification of hearer that Bhagavatam is explaining in the first canto. Because first canto about Sukadeva Goswami, only few verses are given. Some in the fifth and seventh chapter and fourth chapter. And remaining seventh chapter half to 19th chapter, it's all about Parikshit Maharaj only. About Parikshit Maharaj, who is the hearer of Bhagavatam, everything is about him. To tell what exactly a person needs, what is the qualification of a person who can understand Bhagavatam, what should be, and to explain what Parikshit Maharaj, all about his predecessors also given, to prove, to make us understand from what quality of this person is coming from, what are the quality of people who lived before him, and what is the product, the product of the tree of Pandavas, that is Parikshit Maharaj. And that means what a highly qualified person he is to hear Bhagavatam. Because speaker of Bhagavatam is also a hearer, because he heard it before, that's why he is able to speak. So in that way, if by explaining the hearer of Bhagavatam, we can say is also qualified to speak. That is the point. And he speaks also. Parikshit Maharaj speaks Brihat Bhagavatamrita to his mother Uttara before he leaves his body. That is like essence he speaks. It's a very wonderful book. Now the point here is, so first canto is what? Adhikara Tattva. Second canto is about, it is, what is it called? And second canto is about sadhana. Sadhana is not just, okay, you have to hear. No. What happens when we hear? What changes happen? What benefits you get in hearing? How it should change us? That is what is second canto. It's not just sadhana. It's by doing sadhana, what I am going to achieve, what I should achieve. That is what is second canto is telling. So the sections are, there are three sections in it. First two chapters is one section. There are three main categories. First two chapters. This is if we are hearing. First is Shravanam and Niridhyasanam. Like you are understanding it, you are contemplating, you are understanding. So the first two chapters are telling about this point, how you understand. And then third and fourth is telling about once we hear, second thing what happens, we develop faith, there is enthusiasm. So third and fourth is about enthusiasm, how a person develops enthusiasm when he develops faith. If I have faith, I am enthusiastic. Say if I have faith that if I have iPhone, whatever is the latest model, I don't know the names, whatever iPhone latest. So if I have faith that this mobile will make me happy, so I'll be enthusiastic to have it like that. So faith is proportionate to, enthusiasm is proportionate to faith. The third and fourth chapter is about that. And sixth is, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, the 6 chapters from 5th to 10th is Vimarshanam. It is analyzing or understanding or it is realization basically, Vimarshanam. Now, but also this chapter is also, we discussed, is the essence of this canto is summary of Bhagavatam. And what is summary of Bhagavatam? Summary of Bhagavatam is love. Prema Pramurto Mahan. The highest thing is to achieve love. Now, how the second canto is showing love? Say, if a person is in love, first thing what happens, he'll always remember. So first two is chapters are telling about remembrance. He's always remember the object of our love. And this is what is first two. This is meditations. And third and fourth, if you remember, if boy is remembering his girlfriend, then what happens? He becomes very enthusiastic. He want to do something or do some this. So this third and fourth chapter is about enthusiasm. And 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th is what? Now you start telling about the past tense that happened with that person. You know how she behaved like this, how did they, they try to meditate on what all things happened about them. So Vimarshanam. This is from fifth. So it is prema. Now this Bhagavatam, it is quite because first two is meditating. That's what Sukadeva Goswami explains about how you have to meditate on the universal form in the first chapter, and second chapter tells you meditating on the Paramatma feature of the Lord. In that way, you tell them how to meditate. And then third and fourth is the enthusiasm of the hearer, and fourth is the enthusiasm of the speaker. Third is Parikshit Maharaj and Sonakad Rishi's enthusiasm, how they are so eager to hear. And fourth is about Sukadeva Goswami, how he is enthusiastic about telling about Krishna. So in that way, these two chapters. And fifth, six chapters, there are very nicely explaining. And actually, there are 6 chapters, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 3 sections in this, two different parts. 5th, 6th, 7th is one part, 8th, 9th, 10th is another part. Whole is one section. Subsections are there, 2 subsections. And in that also there are 3 subsections. So in that way, this is a very elaborate structure, which I will not take elaborately in this, because I have to complete Prabhupada purport. But on Sundays, I'll elaborately take what we heard from Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj. Elaborately we'll discuss on Sundays. But otherwise here, because the purports are so nice, so nice. I like this second canto at least. Some shlokas, some purports are very nice. So I don't want to take time of purport. So we will do the purports nicely, and Prabhupada gave very nice explanations for some of the verses. Very nicely did. And I want that we focus on them also. But somebody is interested more structure, but that is helpful. I will try to little bit do in between also some of the before the end of 2-3 after 2-3 chapters are done. I will try to give some more understanding of the structure whenever it is possible like that. Okay, so we will start our second chapter with a very nice introduction. Prabhupada gives. He gives actually a brief summary of second canto in a particular way. Prabhupada. That also we'll try to understand here. Any questions, comments till now? We'll move ahead. Yes. We have second canto. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. Vasudeva means to Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Since by chanting the name of Krishna, Vasudevaya, one can achieve all the good results of chastity, austerity, and penance, it is to be understood that by chanting this mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, the author or the speaker, or any one of the readers of Srimad Bhagavatam is offering respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the principles of creations are described, and thus the first canto can be called creation. How the principles of creation explained, we'll see. I heard it, but I forgot now. If I remember, I will let you know. Creation. Similarly, the second canto, the post-creation cosmic manifestation is described. The different planetary systems are described in second canto as different parts of the universal body of the Lord. For this reason, second canto may be called the cosmic manifestation. There are 10 chapters in the second canto, and there are 10 chapters. And in these 10 chapters, the purpose of Bhagavatam and the different symptoms of this purpose is narrated. So here again, Prabhupada is giving some structure for it. He says the first chapter describes the glories of chanting, and it hints at the process by which the neophyte devotees may perform meditation on the universal form of the Lord. In the first verse, Sukadeva Goswami replies to the questions of Maharaj Parikshit, who asked him about one's duties at the point of death. Maharaj Parikshit was glad to receive Sukadeva Goswami, and he was proud of being a descendant of Arjuna and the intimate friend of Krishna personality. Personally, he was very humble and meek, but he expressed his gladness that Lord Krishna was very kind to his grandfathers, the sons of Pandu, especially his own grandfather Arjuna. And because Lord Krishna was always pleased with Maharaj Parikshit's family on the verge of Maharaj Parikshit's death, Sukadeva Goswami was sent to him to help him in the process of self-realization. Maharaj Parikshit was a devotee of Lord Krishna from his childhood. So he had natural affection for Krishna. Sukadeva Goswami could understand his devotion. Therefore, he welcomed the questions about king's duty because the king hinted that worship of Lord Krishna is the ultimate function of every living entity. Sukadeva Goswami welcomed the suggestion and said, because you have raised questions about Krishna, your question is most curious. The translation of the first verse is now very important point here is that the we cannot just logically go and dissect Bhagavatam. We have to go with the understanding what acharyas only give. Otherwise, it is not possible to understand Bhagavatam any other way. We may dissect it and we think, yes, I know it logically. If we know things logically, then we will not go again to read it. That is the problem. But if you go with Acharya's logic, what Acharyas are trying to tell, in that way, if you go, then we can go again and again to Bhagavad, because every time you go in that way, you understand it different. That is the advantage. And here we see there are very beautiful purports. And sometimes no, because I take 2-3 classes, so sometimes I repeat the points thinking that I did not tell here. So if I am repeating something, please don't mind. Because I take in Hindi these classes, I take in some other forum these discussions, and I am taking here also. So what happens is some points I think I might have told here or not, so I may be repeating. Please don't mind. And normally also I repeat many times the same points. I feel that they didn't understand that. I tend to repeat. My way of telling is also like that. Balram Shakti Pro recaps. I don't recap, but I tell the same point again in the same class in a different way. I little redundant sometimes. But please tolerate. Sila Sukha Vacha. Varyaneshate Prashna Krito Lokahitam Napa Atmamat Sammata Pumsam Shrota Vyadishi Yapra. This is the first shloka Sukadeva Goswami is speaking from Bhagavatam. He is in Bhagavatam. This is the first shloka. He says, and this is what he becomes so ecstatic. He didn't even offer prayers. That is interesting. After 4th chapter, of course, it's not 4th chapter for him. It is a conversation. Vyasadeva divided it into 4 chapters. So Sukadeva Goswami said, my dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists. Question is very simple. Question is very simple. What is the duty of a person? Time of death and all the times, and what he should do and what he should not do. Actually, this he asked so when all the sages assembled, but especially but Sukadeva Goswami asked what is the duty in all times, what he should do and what should not do. That is how he asked. The very question is so nice. That is the best subject matter for hearing. Simply by such questioning and hearing, one can achieve the highest perfectional stage of life. Because Lord Krishna is the original supreme person. Any question about him is original and perfect. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the highest perfection of life is to achieve the transcendental loving service of Krishna. Because questions and answers about Krishna elevate one to the transcendental position. The questions of Maharaj Parikshit about Krishna philosophy are greatly glorified. Maharaj Parikshit wanted to absorb his mind completely in Krishna, and such absorption can be affected simply by hearing about the uncommon activities of Krishna. But here the point is, see, many sages could have told about Krishna to Parikshit Maharaj. But what Sukadeva Goswami is telling is very special. That is why we should hear the way Sukadeva Goswami is telling. That is the point. And this is very important. And I told yesterday also that Sukadeva Goswami has some logical way to explain and bring us to the highest level. And what is the most important thing he wants to take us to? The 5 chapters of 10th canto, Ras Panchadhyay. For us to understand them in a proper way, we have to go every chapter, every shloka without then only we will be able to appreciate and understand in proper way. And here also, that's why we have to follow Surya Goswami's logic. And he says, Prabhupada says, for instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that simply by understanding the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna's appearance, disappearance, and activity, one can immediately return home back to Godhead and never come back to this miserable condition of materialization. It is auspicious, therefore, to hear always about Krishna. See, this tattvataha is there, na, that in the shloka, Janma karma chime divyam evanyo veti tattvataha. That word tattvataha is very important. As it is, we have to understand. That is how it is difficult. People say, yeah, I know Krishna's activities are a transaction. It is knowing. I told difference also, right? The mother knows the child, neighbor knows about the child. Our situation is knowing about it. But if you know it, that means you have realized it, that's all. So Maharaj Parishit requested Sukadeva Goswami to narrate the activities of Krishna so that he could engage his. To know Krishna means to know that everything is performed by him in this world. Then means we are knowing Krishna. Arjuna knows it is done by Krishna. Duryodhana could not understand. That's why he missed the point. He said, yeah, I have my strength, I have my abilities. Why I need Krishna? He is anyway not fighting. Arjuna says, even he is not fighting, he is only doing. Let me have Krishna only. That is the difference between a understanding tattvataha and saying, yeah, God is there. I know he can do. But I have my strength, I can manage it. Why I need Krishna? That means he didn't know tattvataha. So Maharaj Parikshit, same thing, Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra know Krishna is Lord. But he did not have that realization what Arjuna had. So Maharaj Parikshit requested Sukadeva Goswami to narrate the activity of Krishna. That means Parikshit knows that I had to hear about Krishna. There is no doubt about it. But who should speak? That is actually another big question. So that he could engage his mind in Krishna. The activity of Krishna non-different from Krishna himself. As long as one is engaged in hearing such transcendent activities of Krishna, he remains aloof from the conditional life of material existence. The topics of Lord Krishna are so auspicious that they purify the speaker, the hearer, and the inquirer. They are compared to the Ganges water which flows from the toe of Lord Krishna. Wherever the Ganges water goes, they purify the land and the person who baths in them. Similarly, Krishna Katha or the topics of Krishna are so pure that wherever they are spoken, the place, the hearer, the inquirer, the speaker, and all the concerned becomes purified. Actually, no, I am afraid every purport does so many things. How much I'll be able to elaborate with our short time, but I will see because uh, uh, I'll try to see some very important purpose. I cannot take so much of time because one shloka only we can go for 1 hour. Such nice points are there. We'll see whatever is possible. We'll try to do. Maybe we'll take one more shloka today because this is also very nice shloka. He says, "Shrotavyadi ninanindra ninam santi sahasrasha apashyatam atvattam grihesh grihmedha." And this one shloka is taken for 1 hour, but will not do that much. You might have heard it from many speakers on this shloka. I'll not take much elaborate, but few points, whatever I feel very important, I'll share. Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blinded by the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in the human society of emperor. Now, in the revealed scriptures, there are two nomenclatures for the householder's life. One is Grahastha and another is Grahamedi. The Grahasthas are those who live together with wife and children but live transcendentally by realizing the ultimate truth. The Grahamedis, however, are those who live only for the benefit of the family members, extended or centralized, and thus are envious of others. The word Medhi indicates jealousy of others. The Grahamedis, being interested in family affairs only, are certainly envious of others. Therefore, one Grahamedi is not on good terms with another Grahamedi, and in the extended form, one community, society, or nation is not on good terms with another counterpart of self-interest. In the age of Kali, all the householders are jealous of one another because they are blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth. They have many subject matters for hearing: politics, scientific, social, economics, and so on. But due to poor fund of knowledge, they set aside the questions of ultimate miseries of life, namely miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Factually, the human life is meant for making an ultimate solution for birth, death, old age, and disease, but the Grahamedi is being illusioned by the material nature, the Godhead. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.15, the miseries of material existence, birth, death, old age, disease are removed. The process of going back home, back to Godhead, is to hear about the Supreme Lord and His name, form, attributes, pastime, paraphernalia, and relativeness. Foolish people do not know this. They want to hear something about the name, form, etc. Everything temporary, and they do not know how to utilize this about the name, form, attributes, etc. of the ultimate truth. One should not therefore become a Grahamedi simply to exist for envying others. One should become a real householder in terms of scriptural mention. This is actually very important verse, very, very important. This next verse also. Because now it is giving the reason why a person is envious. Actually, I explained it previously also, but it is very important that we know why person becomes envious. And I'll try to explain elaborately tomorrow the reason why envious and why it is told envious. Just being a grahasashram. And the problem is na, if we are envious, we cannot understand Bhagavatam. That is another Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. So Paramo Nirmatsaranam. This is somebody should be completely non-envious to understand Bhagavatam. So we'll end here. Thank you all very much. Any questions, comments till now? Okay. We'll end here. Bhagavatam ki jai.